house was one of the worst things I've ever done.
My biggest financial regret that I've ever had in life was purchasing a home back in 2021.
I regret buying my house, and let me tell you why.
Homeownership is not what I expected it to be.
Purchasing a home is not all fine and dandy. It comes with its fair share of pros and cons. Millions of Americans are trapped inside their dream home. Let's see why.
Okay, so currently, a lot of you know that I'm in the process of selling my house. If you don't know, hi, my name is Jalen. I'm a homeowner. I've been a homeowner since 2020, and yes, I am selling my home. That is for various reasons. The main reason is because the financial responsibility outside of the mortgage is just too much. The two added together, the mortgage plus the too much for your girl. Let's just say 5 years ago, it wasn't too much. 5 years later, now it is. Another reason is that I'm really looking to just reset, restart. I don't know if that means in the same city, different neighborhood, different city, different state, whatever. I don't freaking know. My house has currently been on the market for 39 days. From what I'm hearing, the market just not looking too great. Not looking too great. I definitely thought this home was going to sell within 2 weeks. Awkward. So now, of course, I'm questioning every freaking thing per usual. But I wanted to vlog this at least weekly to kind of give you guys an update like on the process and, you know, how I'm feeling and that sort of thing, okay? So let's go with how I feel. I don't know how I feel. Honestly, I really don't know. My faith in God is just getting stronger and stronger each day, and I can definitely tell because the worrying is just less and less and less at this point, which is just amazing. I'm literally focusing on what I need to focus on at this current moment. And right now, that is working. That's it. Obviously, taking care of my kids, taking care of myself, but those are my main things that I'm focused on. Anything outside of that, honestly, is outside of my control. But when I do sit and think, I'm just like, where am I headed? I don't know. This was not the dream that I had. This American dream is just a facade at this point. Like, this is not a thing, okay? And more power to you if you can afford a home, if you are looking to buy a home. Like, and that is, like, I love that for you. But me personally, as a single mom, me doing everything on my own, this is just too much. It's just too much. There are so many things that I have not, like, transparently put out there, like, for people to know that I struggle with. Part of me is a little embarrassed, but the majority of it is just, like, I think I'm just trying to figure out things in my head first before I kind of like put everything out there, because I do want to be transparent, and I know that I'm not the only one in this position, and I know that me being transparent will help other people in my position that maybe just don't feel comfortable coming out and saying that they're struggling with some of these things. So if you are one of those people that are struggling with something similar, or you're just kind of interested in like, oh, shit, where's Jalen going next? Definitely stay tuned because this is about to get interesting.
I think I fully regret buying a house now. Like, it's not the worst choice I ever made, but it's so expensive. But at the same time, it's exactly what rent would be costing me anyways. I'm almost an hour away from where I want to be and almost an hour away from work. It's a lot of upkeep, a lot of maintenance. I feel like the housing market could crash at any minute, and interest rates were high when I bought it, and so were prices. I rationalized it by telling myself, well, it's the same amount as rent and I should get something back out of it at the end of the day, which honestly at this point might not even be true. And I'm far away from everything, and I have an hour-long commute, and I'm tired, and I'm in a 3-bedroom house, and I live alone. I'm thankful. I'm very thankful that I'm able to do this. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if it was the right choice, and I'm stressing over it right now, and I've only been here for like 8 months. I don't know what to do.
I think this might actually be kind of a hot take, but buying a house was one of the worst things I've ever done. Obviously, everyone wants different things. Every market is different. Everyone's personal financial situation is different. Blah, 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 blah. Basically, we live just outside of Austin, and we bought a house, and houses here are just very expensive. So, like, we couldn't really get a cheap house. So our house is a little pricey. And we bought about 2 years ago, and we did a new build, so we didn't have to put a lot of money down, which was great. But anyway, when we like signed the contract to buy the house, it was still being built. By the time we closed, interest rates had gone up by like almost a full percentage point. And we also locked in when house prices were the highest. So basically we bought it like the worst time possible in, the past few years. Within like 2 months of living in that house, I realized that I did not want to live there. It's way too far from all of our favorite stuff. It's way too expensive. It's too much space, honestly. Like, I don't like having to care for that much space. And I don't like feeling locked down. Like, I don't like feeling like we can't just like pick up and move when our lease is up or something. It took my husband longer to realize he felt the same way. But he also feels the same way. We decided that we would try to sell our house because we were like, we're just not happy here. Like, this wasn't the best decision for us. Like, let's just go. And we listed it like a year and a half, tried to list it at a price where we would at least break even. And obviously we haven't sold yet. It's been a year and a half. At this point, we are taking a huge loss on the house and taking out a personal loan to cover it, which I know sounds crazy, but our rent will be so drastically cheaper that even with a personal loan payment each month, we are each still saving like $1,000 a month once we move to an apartment. I don't necessarily regret buying the house because I'm the kind of person that has to do something in order to realize whether I like it or not. And so I had it in my mind that like buying a house was the goal. Like, everyone wants a house. It's the best decision you can make. It's a great financial investment, which like it absolutely can be if you time the market correctly, or if you're just going to stay there for like a really long time. Although I will say we've calculated, even if we stayed for 30 years, say paid off our whole mortgage, and then wanted to sell our house and like make back money on it, the amount of money we would have paid in interest and everything, all said and done, our house would at that point have cost us like, I think almost $2 million or something, or like $1.7 million. And I kind of doubt that even in 30 years, we could sell for 2 mil or something and make, a few $100,000 off of it. Like, I just don't think it's ever gonna be an investment that like pays off for us. I don't like totally regret doing it because I think I had to do it in order to realize it's not what I want. But if I could go back, obviously I would not buy the house. I would just stay renting in Austin. We would have saved so much money. But I think I would have always longed for a house, and I think I would have hated renting because I thought I wanted a house. So anyway, as my uncle put it, education is expensive. And that made me feel like the tiniest bit better about it. But anyway, I'm very excited to go back to renting. I don't think I will ever buy a house again unless I can pay for it basically in cash. Or we are just like, set for life, kind of rich, don't ever have to worry about a mortgage. We can pay people to take care of the landscaping, all that stuff. Because living here in Austin, apartments are really, really nice. And compared to other major cities, they're very cheap for what they are. You get a lot of amenities. Like, if you get a good management company, like, they're great about taking care of stuff. There's always like a resort style pool, a great gym, like, it's a good setup. So in order for us to have that at home, especially with a pool, it would just be very expensive. So anyway, all in all, I don't recommend buying a house unless, you're like wanting to stay there for a long time and you're really sure about that. I just think it's not the right move for a lot of people, and it's like such a narrative that it's the best thing that you can do, and it's the American dream, and it's the goal, and like, it's just not for everyone.
Yes, ma'am, you are very correct. The house is somewhere you're supposed to be for at least 20, 30 years. It's supposed to be permanent.
My biggest financial regret that I've ever had in life was purchasing a home back in 2021 for these 3 reasons. Number 1, I had to put a 30% down payment on my home. My down payment was roughly around $330,000. I bought my 2-bedroom, 3-bath townhome for $910,000. And the reason why we had to put so much down at the time was just because of my income, I was only making around, I think, $100,000 to $110,000. That was the only way we could get the math work. Now, my monthly mortgage payment, if you factor in interest, taxes, HOA, etc., it's roughly around $4,200. If I was renting right now, I could probably rent a really nice 2-bedroom condo or apartment for $3,500. So that would save me $700 a month. However, had I just not bought a home, I could have taken that $300 and $10,000, $20,000 that I used as a down payment and just invested in the stock market. We all know the stock market bottomed in 2022, and fuck man, you see where it is today, right? I could easily have an extra, at the very minimum, couple $100,000 in my stock portfolio. Number two, in the market that I live in, renting is actually cheaper than buying a home. Again, as I previously stated, I probably am paying an extra, $700 to $1,000 more per month by owning a home rather than renting one. And then number three, owning a home is just really, really overrated. There's maintenance that you have to worry about. I've already had to replace an AC, and my home is like 3 to 4 years old. So it's actually really, really new. I'm sure at some point I'm gonna have to replace a dishwasher, a washer and dryer. Owning a home is not cheap. There are a lot of expenses that come with maintaining a home, and you have to do it yourself. If I lived in an apartment complex, I could call the landlord and then they would send somebody to help me fix the problem. Honestly, if I could do it again, I would just rent a nicer apartment or a condo, whatever, in a nicer community, and then just invested my money instead in the stock market. But again, everybody's different. Everybody has different ways to invest and build wealth. Real estate is not one avenue of building wealth that I really like. All right, guys. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure you guys follow and like for more.
I'm going to say it. It might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it. I don't think buying a house is all it's cracked up to be. I don't. I've said it. There is so much pressure to settle down to buy a house, especially when you have children. And I just want to say it's not that easy for everybody. I think it's easier to settle down and find and stay put when you have family, or you're super close with your family, you have a hometown. Does that make sense? I'm so thankful for our house and so thankful that our kids have so much land to just run free. However, we know we won't be here forever. So, I know, I thought this was gonna be forever. We thought so too. But we live in an area where the schools are horrible. Bad. I will never send my kids to school here. So if I ever want to put our kids in school, we have to move somewhere else where the schools are better. Living in the woods is great, but it is hard being a mother, and I will say I miss the community. I miss walking around. I miss the community pool, the community park. So in 5 years or whatever, I hope that we can find something that makes Tyler and I both happy. And I'm not really sure I want to buy another house for a very long time. So I'd rather rent. And I know people say owning a house is cheaper. Not right now. Rent would be way cheaper than a mortgage. At least for us. We also can't just call up a landlord and be like, hey, this is going wrong, please fix it. No, we have to call a company and be like, hey, this is going wrong, and then we have to pay them money, lots of money. So that's just my 2 cents on buying a house. And I don't like feeling stuck, and buying a house makes me feel stuck. So don't ever feel bad for renting and just being in a rental, because honestly, I miss it.
And that's why more and more people are choosing apartments, because you don't feel stuck. Some of my neighbors are very, very cool. They're retirees and they're just living their life. They have their house. They actually sold it because they're actually going from state to state every couple of years and experiencing life.
Guys, when we bought this house, I don't think we realized how much financial undertaking it would take. Okay, so in 2021, I think when our child was 6 months or so, we made the decision that we now want to move out of our 2-bedroom rental. We were staying in a very affluent area. It was nice. It was very convenient. It was central to everywhere we frequent. But the issue with the property is that didn't have like a secure garden or like privacy, because the gardens weren't like sectioned off, so anybody could like look into your bedroom window, honestly. And also we shared the same property with a hotel, right? So anybody could really come in. We didn't really have that much of security issues. I mean, I think there was only one incident, but other than that, it was also like just becoming too small, because now this babies are crawling, she can do stuff, and you've got nannies, you've got people coming into the house and all that stuff, whatever. So then we decide, okay, fine, we want to move out of the space. And I don't know why our decision was to buy a house. Fine. We find the home that we now live in. We agree on a price, and yeah, things go on very smoothly. And our house was the last house, because I remember when we were viewing homes, where we bought our house, it was sold out. And then they contacted us like a week later, and they were like, hey, listen, there's someone's bond, whatever, that fell through. There's an opening, but first grab gets it, so come view and then decide. Firstly, we viewed the house on a screen because the house that they used to view was then sold. Okay, anyway, that's a story for another day. And I think because we really wanted to make this move and we're excited about this move, we didn't really consider a lot of things. So anyway, we buy the house off a plan, basically off a plan, and off of what are those things called? Renders. Yeah, off renders. That's what we get our house off of. And because our house was the last one, or like it was a sale that fell through, we took whatever the person had decided on. So there were even things that we didn't realize that we could have added on into our home to make it more comfortable for us, whatever. So we got the house as it is, sharp. When we then decided to accept our bond, we were happy with the bond repayments we had then, right? We never considered that the bond repayments would obviously become way more, obviously also with inflation. So this is the first tip. Do not budget according to that. Like, do not. Already, the difference between our bond repayment and our rent at that point was 8,000 Rand. We were comfortable with that, and that's what we were prepared for, because we needed the space and we really wanted to, we wanted to grow as people. Cool. Hi, then 9 months, it took about like 9 months for us to finally get into the home, right? In that time, our bond repayment kept going up and up and up and up and up. We still felt comfortable, and then we moved in. Do you know what we did not consider? The fact that our electricity would be way more, not just a couple hundreds, like way more, right? And obviously, yes, we thought about levies and rates and taxes, but we didn't think about like things like deposits that you need to pay for those. So your ESCOM deposit, which is like crazy. We did not budget for that. And at that time, my husband had just started his new job, and I was still an intern, but I think I was getting less than other interns because they had paid me my full pay when I was pregnant, so I had to pay that back. Cool. So then anyway, we've now moved in. Now electricity is showing us flames because we moved in winter. Then what we also didn't consider is that the fee for your help, so your nanny, is going to go up because now it's transport. You've moved, right? Because we have a stay out. And then also, because now the house is bigger, you have to get extra help, and you need to pay for that extra help, whether you've budgeted or not. Because we couldn't expect our nanny to clean, do everything, and then also take care of a child that is so busy. Hi, sharp. Guys, another thing that we did not consider is that our bond would go up with inflation. So from the time that we signed our agreement to now, our bond has gone up by 9,000. Okay, so that puts us, so you add 9,000 and 8,000, that's 17,000 if I'm not mistaken. That's 17,000 difference to where we come from with the rental, and that's like purely the truth. So we were at a certain point, we've now added 17,000, and that's just with bond, right? Then now you have to factor in your water and lights. You factor in your levies. And now if you live in a sectional title, you have things called special levies. Yo, my way. Guys, honestly, I was having a conversation with my husband and I was like, I really wish we did more research. I wish we spoke to more people, because renting for the amount that we pay for, we could have gotten a way better house. And also, if we rented for that amount, at least like levies and stuff don't fall on us. I'm thankful for the house. I'm grateful that God has definitely provided for us, because now my husband has been promoted in his job. He's the MD where he is, and I am financially more stable because I have content creation gigs, and because I'm now a medical officer, I get paid more than what I was as an intern. But honestly, when I look at the amount of money that leaves our accounts, I'm just like, sometimes I miss that too, petrol. Honestly, I would have been so rich if I stayed in a flat. Like, so rich. But anyway, so if you are someone that is looking to get into a home, I don't want to discourage you. I just want to ask you to please do as much research as you can. Speak if you have a friend where that lives in the place that you're looking to move into. Please have an honest conversation with them and start budgeting, looking at that, because we really budgeted with in a very short-sighted way. It is our mistake, it's nobody else's, but I guess we live and we learn. We were very lucky that things really advanced for us in terms of our careers, and we were able to do what we can do. But if we still had the same salaries that we had at that point when we decided to move, we would have been like absolutely screwed. Yeah, that's it.
That's real. She's taking accountability, and that's all you really can do at the end of the day. Now you just got to get through the rough times and just make that home an investment, man. If y'all know anybody who's going through these same issues, drop them down in the comments. I would love to have a conversation about this. Until the next time, I'm gone.